Are you being challenged by chemistry? We may have some answers coming up for you here. For some people, chemistry is a breeze. For others, it's just endless memorization and hard work. We want to show you how to get to chemistry being a breeze. When we get to our first chemistry class, and anywhere along the way, pretty much nobody ever stops and says, here's the way to learn this. Here's the way to engage in chemistry that makes it alive, understandable, and easy to learn. We're going to do our best to do that for you. We've had so many people talk to us over the years telling us how challenging chemistry has been because there's just so many formulas to learn, so many dynamics to memorize. And the way that most everybody does it is to look at those formulas on paper and somehow try and memorize them all. As an example, we think about someone who talked to us that was just about to start their PhD in chemistry, and what they prided themselves on is how hard and how long they could work and how much they could memorize, how persistently they could apply themselves to this. We asked them if they wanted another way, and they sort of chuckled at us and didn't quite believe us. We shared with them what we're about to share with you. They came back a few weeks later and said, wow, what a difference. They wondered how it was they'd gotten by all those years of chemistry without coming at it this way. Here it is. Here's what we find that really good chemists do in their brain. When they think about chemistry, they don't just see formulas on paper. What they do is those formulas immediately in their imagination become something that many describe as sort of the size of a big jungle gym where all the atoms are color-coded, each atom its own color, so that you can easily see what they are, and then you can design them so you can see how they fit together. And they can see the valence of each, how one will interact with another. They can hook them up. They can play with them. They can feel how they connect. They even have sometimes a sense of how they vibrate. They describe all kinds of ways that these molecules, when they make them big and they can walk around in them and they can play with them, come alive for them. Certainly some of the small models help. Putting them together and seeing the shapes and how they're folded and such certainly does help. But it takes it to a whole nother level when we can make them big enough that we can, again, literally walk around in them, touch them in our imagination. It becomes our playground. Like a kid on a playground, our brains are wide open and we learn so readily, so quickly. We share a story in another podcast where a friend of ours came to us. He had to go back and pick up an organic chemistry module in order to get into med school. And so he was doing a summer intensive where it was 6 hours a day, 3 hours in the morning in the classroom and 3 hours in the afternoon in the lab. And then he would be studying several hours every night and several hours on the weekends. At the beginning of the second week, there was a pop quiz. For the first time ever, he got a C and was freaked out because he had to get an A to get into med school, and he'd never gotten anything other than an A. Here was the C sitting in front of him. He said he just didn't know how to study harder. We shared this simple method, this simple way of engaging his brain differently in this. And we sat and played with it for about 20 minutes. And he came back a week later just to let us know that his study time had dropped down to maybe an hour each evening and a couple hours on the weekend. And he was acing everything now. And it all fit for him. It all came together. Try it out. It's simple. It's straightforward. This is how the best chemists do things in their brain. Let's see if we can borrow their way of doing it and add it to your repertoire. It makes chemistry so much more enjoyable. Try it out. let us know.